welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ellie. Today's video is going to be another try a chapter video. I've done 2 of these before and I have really enjoyed it because I have so many books on my TBR. This is just a really helpful way to get a snippet from each book to see whether it's one that you're really gonna like, and I have managed to knock I think 2 books off my TBR by doing try a chapter. So let's see how it is going to go today. Today I'm going to be reading 5 fantasy books. I absolutely love fantasy, so I hope I'm gonna love all of these first chapters. These are the 5 that I will be reading, and I will apologise, the lighting will change and probably not be as good because I will be facing the other way, so the light will be coming in behind me, so I apologise about the lighting for the rest of the video. But let's get started. So the first book on the top of the pile is Blackthorn by J.T. Geisinger. This is a fairly new book on my TBR list. I read one book by this author previously. I think it was a mafia romance and I didn't really love it, so I wasn't sure if I was going to read anything else by this author, but I saw this in Asda and it was like £10 and I thought I would give it a go. So like my other try it chapters, if you haven't watched those, I will not be reading the blurbs or anything about these books. I'm literally just going to go in, read the first chapter and see what I can get from the story based off the first one. So let's get comfy and cozy and we'll start Blackthorn. Okay, Blackthorn. So there was a prologue to this one, but it was only 1 page, and then the first chapter was about 6 pages, so there wasn't too much happening in this one. But basically we have our female main character, Maven. It might be pronounced Maven, I'm not sure, but she has a daughter and they have come to a manor that she grew up in as a child that was owned by her family, as they are starting over. We don't yet know why they are starting over or why they have come back. It feels very spooky and atmospheric. I feel like this would be a great book to read around Halloween because just the writing, it was all very like dark and gothic. So I am actually intrigued by this one, and as much as I want to read it now, and I was planning on reading it now, I do kind of want to save it for the autumn because I just feel that that will be the perfect time of year to read this, just based off that first chapter. But I don't know, I feel like this is going to be a great Halloween read. The next book on this list is Wolfsong by TJ Klune. This is one that I've been wanting to read for a very, very long time. I read The House in the Cerulean Sea last year and it was one of my favourite books of the year. And I was given this copy. I was going to a book club at my local Waterstones and it was December 2024. They were giving away all of the proofs and things that they had out the back because they needed to get rid of them. So one of the ones that I was given was Wolfsong, which I was really excited about, but the size of this has been hitting me off and I have heard some mixed reviews on it, so we are going to give it a try today. See how many pages are in the first chapter. Okay, there's only 8 pages in the first chapter, so I have high expectations for this one, but let's see if it lives up to them by the first chapter. One of Wolfsong is down, and I don't really know how I feel about this chapter 1. I do want to read more because I'm intrigued, but it hasn't honestly gripped me. So at the start of this we have Ox. I'm not too sure how old he is, whether it was mentioned or not, but his dad is leaving and he's kind of giving him this speech that he is now the man of the house, that he can't deal with this anymore and he just needs to go. He's packing up all of his things and he leaves, and then Ox kind of has to tell his mum that his dad has gone. A couple of little scenes of what has happened since his dad has left. Yeah, I feel like this hasn't really given away too much of what this story is about, so I am left wanting to know more, but I'm still like, I'm not as hooked on it as I was when I read The House in the Cerulean Sea. So honestly, I probably would knock this off the TBR if I hadn't loved another book by this author, because I really do want to give this series a go. I am going to read some more of this and give it more of a go, but I have mixed feelings at the moment. The third book I'm going to be trying is Make Me a Monster by Caitlin Bayron. I have read Cinderella is Dead by this author, which I absolutely loved, and I met her at Yauk and she was just really nice. So I wanted to read this when I saw it in the works, because if you know me by now, I'm a sucker for sprayed edge and special editions from the works, and I have been drawn to pick this up a couple of times, but I've just never done it. So okay, we have a prologue in here that's like a page and a half, and then chapter 1, it's quite a long chapter 1, it is 16 pages, so this might take me a little bit of time. Now read the first chapter of Make Me a Monster, and now I'm thinking I'm not too sure if this is actually a fantasy or not. I think it is. I do know that this is based off of Frankenstein, I believe, and once I'd read the chapter I did actually cheat and read the blurb, and it does say that like mysterious items are left at her door, so like I'm assuming it's like a fantasy paranormal thing, but it might not be, so I could be wrong with putting it in this video. But basically we have our female main character. I think you say her name is Mika, it's spelled M-E-K-A, and she lives in a, I don't know if she lives there, but like her parents run a funeral home and she helps them. She's 17 and she's just kind of got a license to be able to help them out. It's her birthday. To celebrate it, her family and friends have made a little surprise party for her at the very start, and then we move on to her kind of preparing a body for a funeral. She's doing the last touches on it, but there are a few little things like the eyes keep opening, the mouth keeps opening, so there's little hints that there is something going on in this funeral home, which is where I am assuming that it is going to be a paranormal or fantasy. But now I'm second guessing myself that maybe it's not, so we'll see. But again, I really want to sit and read this, but I also feel like this is another great spooky season read, so I feel like I've chosen all of the wrong books at the wrong time of year to try this, but it is just very spooky, so I kind of want to read it now, but I also kind of want to save it for Halloween. The fourth book on the list is Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I have never read anything by this author. I really want to read the From Blood and Ash series by her, but they're really expensive. So when I saw this one in TK Maxx last year for $3.99, I thought I would try the author's writing to see whether I actually liked it before investing in such a big series. So I am looking forward to starting this one to see how I feel. Let's see how many pages we have in chapter 1. 11 pages. Okay, so moving on to Obsidian. I'm not too sure how I'm feeling about this one. I think this has been my least successful try chapter so far. So we have Katie, our female main character, and she grew up in Florida, but her father passed away 3 years ago, and her mother has just moved them to West Virginia for a fresh start for her senior year. Her mum kind of throws herself into work because she has not been the same since her father passed away. And in the first chapter, her mum encourages her to go knock on the neighbour's house because they appear to have children who are Katie's age, and she thinks it would be good for her to get to know them before she starts school. So she goes to knock on the neighbour's door, and it is answered by the boy, who is going to be our main character, and he is kind of rude to her and they don't get off to the best start. Now, I don't think I'm going to continue reading this one. I think if I had read this when I was about 14-15, I would have absolutely loved it. Like, I get the feeling that it would have been something that I would have just loved back then. But now it kind of reads a little young for me. Like, this is YA, I believe, and sometimes I do still really love a YA, but this one just didn't grab me, and I felt that the writing of it might feel a bit too young for me. So I think this one is going to move on to my DNF pile. But I do still want to try the From Blood and Ash series. Like, I'm not writing off this author. I just think this one is going to be a little bit too YA for me. And then moving on to the final book, this might be one of the fantasy books that I have had on my TBR for the longest, and that is A Deal with the Elf King by Elise Cover. I picked up 4 books in this series at Yalk back in 2023. My best friend also got them and we were planning on buddy reading them, but it's just never happened. So I'm going to give it a go today. So let's have a look at how many pages we have for chapter 1. 11 pages. That seems kind of average. The romance books that I've been trying the other day all kind of had like 6 to 8 pages. All of the fantasy books seem to have like longer first chapters. But anyway, let's start the final book. The start of this one. So we have Luella. She is the healer of this town, and I think there are humans and elves in this world, and they have a treaty between them, but it only stays in place when there is a human queen. But there hasn't been a human queen for 150 years, which means the people are slowly starting to die, so they need to find this human queen. And at the start, Luella is just making some potions, I think, to help people, and this guy called Luke walks in. He is someone that she has loved for her whole life, and he is a keeper of the Fade, so I think he kind of like works for the elves maybe. He comes to her and he's like, run away with me. She's taken back by this. She wasn't expecting it. He confesses that he loves her and she tells him that she loves him too. He just wants them to run away because the place is going to fall because they don't have this human queen, so he wants to get her out of there, but she doesn't want to leave because she's a healer and she thinks that there's too many people that rely on her for her to leave. At the very end of the chapter, Luella and Luke are upstairs having breakfast with her parents, and the chapter ends by him saying that he and Luella are getting married, but she never agreed to that. So I think I want to say this is my favourite, but I also did really love Make Me a Monster. So these two are the ones that I'm most excited for out of the 5, and will definitely be bumped up the TBR. I'm forever making myself hot chocolates to drink whilst I film, and then I forget about them and they go cold and it sucks. But anyway, those are 5 fantasy books, and yeah, it was a very mixed this time. This definitely has been my least successful, but I'm still really looking forward to trying 2 of the books. I have 1 more of these planned, which will be 5 Fairy Loot Romanticities, so subscribe if you aren't already to see that one. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again next week with another video.